What's up, fantastic people of planet Earth? So, welcome to Let's Write Music. Before we get started, I wanted to address a comment that I've gotten a lot about starting with just basic melodic sketch when writing pieces and not writing from a detailed sketch that has like accompaniments and harmonies and part writing and things. Sometimes I like doing that, but the reason that I generally like to go straight to orchestrating is because it allows me to write for particular combinations of instruments rather than sort of writing something that are just musical ideas and then contrivedly kind of taking them and putting them out. It's just my personal preference. It's not like I don't like planning out the piece ahead of time. I really like to plan out when things are going to happen, but to a certain extent, you know, what you have in your head may not be the way that it turns out. You know, like I said in a previous episode, just listening to it and letting it hit you at a visceral level can make your ear be like, well, actually, maybe no, it might be better if I did this thing. So if you stick too rigidly to a plan, you know, it might be to the detriment of the flow, the organic quality of the music. But anyway, the reason that I like to write for instruments is because, you know, then I can write for their particular idiomatic capabilities and strengths and the perfect aspects of the register. Like if I write a melody or something and then later on I say, oh, I want it to be for the flute. What if it's not in a key, you know, that is particularly going to be resonant and full and rich on the flute? Maybe it's too low, and so then if I put it an octave higher, it's too high. If it's too low, it's just not in a good key for the flute. You know, and then I may not want to transpose it because then I'm transposing it from for a contrived non-musical reason, so it might be awkward to just move to that spot musically. And whereas if I just sit down and sort of like think, oh, okay, I want flute, let me write a line for the flute, let me write a line for the French horn, or let me write for this particular combination of instruments, because of the fact that I'm writing for those instruments, in my personal opinion, I think it makes the music better suited for the, you know, for the orchestra. And I know there are lots of different opinions on this. A lot of phenomenal orchestrators do both, do either or. So I'm not saying that it's an end-all method, but, you know, just me personally, that's why I like to kind of just get our material and kind of toy around with it. But as far as like, I don't like to like start with a 3 or 4 or 5 staves sketch, but I like to write for write for the orchestra, write for these instruments rather than writing something and then kind of making it work. Anyway, so let's listen to this to kind of remind ourselves what we came up with. I'm gonna clean up the score later, by the way, when we're all finished. Okay, so I think the first thing that I'm going to do is continue this horn line because it definitely has motion to it. So, I wish my keyboard was bigger. Pretty high, but they can do that. And I think I'm going to extend this crescendo to encompass all of that. But yeah, that kind of sequence type thing, that's kind of what I'm hearing. See how that works. Yeah. And I'm kind of hearing a 3/4 measure. I think it's going to be a giant like 7/4, like 1 2 1. So it's like 1 2 1 ba da 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 2 3, and then the chord changes. Because I like uneven metrical structures for this type of music. I think I'm just going to continue this sonority. Should be voice 1. Oops. Yeah. Oh yeah, we're muted. I remember now. We get back into the flow. I'm gonna go through and fix these slurs real quickly because they're kind of being not nice. Okay, good enough. I'll fix all that later because what I'm probably gonna do in the final version is put divide the violin up into 2 sections because the problem is the fact that I'm doing tremolo on some notes and non-tremolo on other notes. So in order to get back but still maintain the slurring so it's not awkward, I think I am going to, because ideally, usually when you have big gigantic chords like this, and there's no way they could do it all in one bow. What you would do is put the whole thing under one slur, and what it's implied, and sometimes you can write it out. Sometimes I'll write it out. But free bowing is usually what they're gonna do, which is what I'm saying. Sometimes I'll write out like on the score like free bowing like this. Sometimes I'll put it in parentheses and like in italics or whatever. But basically this just means that each string player in the section, let's say there's like 12 or 14 first violins, each one of them is just going to sort of bow, and just when their bow gets to the end, then they're going to move it, right? And what happens is that since everybody starts bowing at different times, it gives a seamless sound, right? And if you want a sense of uniformity to phrase structure, then you don't want to have free bowing, and you want the bowing to be uniform and consistent. But if you have these big chord pads like this, and you want it to just last unnaturally long beyond what's humanly possible with a normal bow stroke, usually, because if you try to get really finicky and kind of like use different slurs for different instruments, and it's just annoying, right? The easiest, most efficient way, and I say this because I've used it in live string sessions and it works out and it's really easy for them to do, is just write free bowing and then they'll all just sort of bow at sort of random times, and then it makes the transition from each note as smooth as possible, because there are always going to be some players who are doing that change within the same bow stroke, because the bow stroke change exists independently from the chord change, which is what you want. But anyway, so that's what I'm gonna do when I'm finished, because of course no performer won't play it back if I write a big slur and a just write free bowing. It doesn't understand that, so we'll leave it the way it is now, just to make playback correct. But when I finalize the score, that's when I'm gonna write, and if it was to be performed with live players, that would be the way that I would solve that particular problem. Just my personal preference. I want to see if all those notes work with that chord. That sounds really nice. Alright, I feel like there's another instrument that's starting out with that same note, and I might want to double it. Yeah, it's the cello. So, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do this. Do that. This measure is so unevenly spaced, it's killing me. Oops. We'll do that. They're at piano, so I'll leave that there. Just do this, do that. Okay, cool. Hear what that sounds like. Ooh, I like that. But we're at a bit of a dilemma here, because I also like the ma being held. So what I might do is just divisi it in the violas. It'll be quiet, but it'll still be there. So we still get the note once the cello leaves. But I might drop them in the second half of the measure. Actually, that might be a little obvious when they pop in. Let me just try this and see if it's too much. Too much of that note. Of course, note performer won't play back the divisi properly. There we go. Yeah, that sounds nice. I kind of want to introduce some of the theme at this point. nice little thing there. That D minor flat 6 chord. Yeah, and then this should be a 4/4 measure. Yada-dum. I'll put them at mezzo forte since they're still muted. Yada-dum, dum-dum. Yeah, it's obvious enough. It's a half step. I'm going to push them down to D. That's only possible with a C extension, but I'm going to live with it. Actually, I'm going to keep the mezzo piano because they're being double with the horn. Now I'll take this, bring it up here. I'm going to give them a little breathing room there. I think it'll blend nicely into the texture. I can adjust the size of this crescendo. And I'll leave the cello at the long note. I'll only give the breathing consideration for the horn. And all this can be under one thing. Yada-dum. Might want to have all this under flats. It doesn't really matter. It's not for live players. I'm not going to waste time on that. Ooh, that'll be really nice. Yeah. So we're kind of clearing out the texture here. Yum. So that's gonna be the same because that note belongs to both chords. I could probably do this and then it'll fix the. Why is that? I want that to be that. And then it's hidden. This slurring is so messed up. Oh my gosh. Yeah, so that's pretty easy, and then we're in pretty straight territory. Do I have anything doubled up here? I don't remember. No, I don't. Okay. Ooh. I feel like I want a hit here, you know what I mean? And I also want the tempo to be slower, like it's a new section. Slower than quarter equals 60. Wow. Yada. We'll try 50. Largo. Yeah, I'm gonna give like a bass drum tremolo. And this will sound really nice with a sampled bass drum. I'm gonna sample this piece, by the way. I'm gonna actually follow through and not use Note Performer. And and that'll be great too, because then we can use the I'm talking about the timpani here. We can normally timpani rolls always pose a problem because of the way that the drums work. If I'm going, you know, if I was going from like a dominant roll, bum, and then bum, even though the dominant, since it's on a separate drum, you know, scale degree 5 is going to ring out, it's going to be okay because scale degree 5 exists also with the 1 chord, right, as the 5, the 5th degree of the 1 chord. So it's for that 5 to ring over along with a bum, along with the tonic, is not necessarily a bad thing. But when you get into weird tonal stuff like this and you start getting modulations where you have this build up and then the hit is on a change of key, unless they mute the old drum, which they can, right? They can. There's going to be a little bit of bleed over, and it's difficult for them to do a roll and then hit this other thing and then mute it without making a noise. And really good timpani players can do it. But it's just something that's a little bit awkward to have to deal with. You know what I mean? So sometimes that's why I'll have like a bass drum roll, which is non-tonal, and then the timpani comes in on the downbeat, but I don't use a timpani roll because I don't want the old note bleeding into the new note. But anyway, my point is this is all G sharp minor territory, right? We have this add 4 here, or you can think of it as a 11. But it's still G sharp minor the whole time, right? So we can use a timpani roll, and it'll work. The note will work with both. It's a nice note too. It's low, but it's not too low. There's a thin threshold also where like good timpani low notes are. I would say from this D in the middle of the stave to a D an octave below that. I would say that's really good. Any lower than that, and it's just like bleh. And any higher than that. But sometimes, and this is kind of getting into like a timpani conversation, but sometimes also it's better to choose, even if you want an epic sound, it's better to choose the higher timpani note and then to have a bass drum doubling underneath, right? Because the bass drum gives you that low thump, but because it's a non-tonal, basically just like white noise, it's not really going to interfere or cause resonance problems, especially if you have a big room with lots of reverb happening. So it's better to go up the octave with a timpani and just have a nice, like, if you want to big hit like a wood mallet or something, have a nice hit in like in the middle octave of the timpani. In other words, like right here, or wait, let's see. Right, we have this D right here, and you say, okay, I want this D, right? And that D is fine, but you're going to get a same sound, but clearer and cleaner and more pointed and less money if you push the timpani up to this D, but then have the bass drum an octave lower doing its thing, boom, doubling at the same time. So you get the low end, but you don't get the resonance problem. So that's a trick that a lot of orchestrators use, and I think it's worth thinking about, considering whenever you're having to make a decision about timpani and bass drum, because you don't want muddiness. Going to hold this over. I'm not going to give away the theme yet. Also because it feels like there should be an arrival moment, but because the chord's not changing, it feels a little bit awkward. So I'm going to do this. So do that. See what that sounds like. Yeah, that's nice. And I think I'm gonna keep this dude down at piano. See if he can. I'll give him another rest there too. All right, now let's fill this in. I might add some other doublings, because at this point it hasn't been long. Let's see how long we're into the piece. Yeah, we're 30 seconds into the piece, but I want to add other textures and woodwinds doubling. I don't just want to stick with strings the whole time. So do. It's probably going to take a couple voicings to get this right, but I think I'm going to go with this. Actually, let's think about what. This is interesting. Yeah, so okay, so they're on this B flat. It's transposed, but it's a B flat. This poses a very interesting problem. Because I want to hear this flat 9 dissonance. I want to hear the B flat on top of the A, right? Right? If I had the A on top and the B flat on the bottom, it immediately turns into a major 7, which is not the sonority that I want. So we're gonna have to place the A pretty low. But that's gonna be interesting because right now the cello is up here. So we're probably gonna have to voice cross and go down with violas. We could have this rub right here. So we got this. That's actually pretty nice, yeah. Okay, so we got the B flat twice. We have it up here, we have it down here. So we got 2 B flats on top of the A, so I think that'll work. And then with this D in the bass, I think that'll work as well. But we will see. Ooh, I like that. It needs some work, but I like it. I still want to do something about this transition though. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna move the bass down to so it starts on the Lydian thing, boom, 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 and then I'm gonna go down and go to C sharp minor, which is sort of like the relative minor of E. So it's a logical substitution for E. It brings the chord down to a lower perspective, brings the extensions up, because when you move the bass line down, it makes the upper voices seem like higher extensions because the bass line is going down, so they are higher extensions. So it gives them a sense of like, whoa. And then it makes this nice contrary motion because the thing is going dee da da, and then the bass line is going boom. The bass line is going going from C sharp to D, so it makes contrary motion. I think it's nice. Do I have any other bass instruments happening right here? No, I don't. Right now it's just horn and strings. Okay, but yeah, let's see what that sounds like. Ooh, that's really nice. I'm going to see if I can double that bass line with tuba. I don't want to do it with like contrabassoon because when it's really low, bassoon and contrabassoon and all double reeds have difficulty playing quietly. They have a very growly tone down there. It might not be too low for the contra, but remember the contra bass reeds down. So what you're saying is an octave underneath what is you're hearing an octave underneath what you are saying. Do I not have a tuba? No, I don't. All right, let's add tuba. And this is a great moment to use the tuba to, when you have a really low note that needs a push. That might be too low for them. Get those pedal tones going. What am I doing? Did I not add it? Did I literally not even add it? Did I just exit out? Yeah, tuba. There we go. Yeah. Let me just try up an octave. Oh, I need to give them a dynamic. I'm going to do this and crescendo into piano. Ooh, that's nice. I might have them drop down the octave. That's a pedal tone, so if I think the bass bone can do that though, if I remember. I can't remember, but I know one of the brass instruments down there, it might be the cimbasso. One of them has better pedal tones than the rest. Contrabass trombone. Holy crap. If it exists, use it. You know what? I'm gonna go with the contrabassoon. Ooh, that's nice. Let me just give that whole thing to contrabassoon and see what that sounds like. So they're not too low to start out with. about that. I think we need fifth. Also, I could cheat and add a synth bass later on. And these headphones suck at bass. I don't know, it's tough. Tough. Let's try contrabass clarinet. And if that doesn't work, we'll just leave it as is. Ooh, I like that. I like that. We need to fill in more of these other things, though. Oh, one thing that's different from okay. When it comes to like technology, if I'm writing a score that is going to be sampled, I see no, like I want to make it sound real and I want to write as if for live players, but I don't see any reason in divesting. Well, that's not the right word. I don't see any reason in withholding. Abstain. That's it. I don't see any problem with abstaining from using things that wouldn't necessarily be possible with real instruments, as long as it doesn't destroy the character of that instrument. You know, so like, for example, timpani notes, like if I can play a timpani line that sounds epic when it doubles everything, but in real life they wouldn't be able to tune that fast. If I know it's for samples and it's for a film score, I'm gonna do it. Like, you know what I mean? And if I have to make a arrangement of it for live players, then I can readjust it, right? And it'll be perfectly fine. As long as you're aware of it. It shouldn't be done out of ignorance. But, you know, the example I was going to give here is concertino. Normally they'd have to have a second to take off their mutes. They can't just, like, you know, shake their mute off while they're playing. So anyway, so I'm saying that, you know, for this right here, this note right here, I'm gonna take the contrabass and have them stop, have them play normally without a mute, even though that wouldn't be possible in real life because they'd have to have a chance to take off the mute. So, because I'm gonna sample it. Yeah, that's nice. I'm also gonna DVC them and do an octave. Yeah, that's nice. I think bones, you know, for that chord might be really nice. Da-da-da-da. Yeah, right there. I'm gonna bring in another tenor bone. So 3 tenors and a bass. Da-da-da-da. I'm gonna give them piano and then an accent mark so they can have a bit of bite. If you know what I mean. Oh, that's nice. Too much though. And I'm gonna give them all mutes. So turn off the mute for the contrabass, but put it on for the bass one. That makes sense. I think I can just do consort. Yeah, it'll still work. I might take off the... Yeah, I'm going to take off the accent since the concertino in and of itself has a biting sound. Alright, we'll try this. Yeah, and I want to pop one of them down low, up. That'll be really nice. Oh yeah, it's starting to get really creepy. Yeah, so I'm gonna take this, rather than like moving them all up, and I can't remember whether or not I talked about this technique in any of my other YouTube videos, but when you have a chord. I think I did talk about this, but so forgive me if I'm repeating myself, but if you have a chord and you're just transposing the whole thing up an octave, rather than moving everything at once, keep the two notes the same and have the bottom one move up to the top, right? So you get the inversion of the chord, but the notes are staying the same, so it's a smooth transition. Then you just have to worry about getting them back into the original place, but in this case, it'll be fine. So in other words, rather than moving this B flat up to F and then moving this A up to B flat and then moving this F up to A, I could just take this F and move that up. Except that's a bass bone, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put this down here and then put this over here. Because that F is easy peasy for a bone player. They love tenor stuff up there. Yeah, we'll fix that problem. Give them a little slur. All right, let's see what that sounds like. Ooh, I like that. I think I might want just a straight chord. Have another hit. I don't think it'll be too much. So here's a perfect example. I'm going to do this rather than that. I might do the lower one, we'll see. Because muddiness isn't really a problem in this context. Because everything is so slow. Yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do a Neptune from the planets. And we'll do that. Go from piano back up. That might be too straight in time. We'll see. Ooh, I really like that. I'm gonna give sextuplets to this. And I'm gonna work backwards. Oops. Oops, I need a sextuplet for that as well. That's really nice though. That's nice. Need 'em. Wrong note value. I often like to do this, by the way, work backwards, like create the sextuplet or whatever, and then you know what note you want to land on, so just start from that and do an arpeggio downwards. It's easier than doing the math in your head, and because we all know I don't like math. I like that, and I think I want to bring in the horns, doubling this, the lower horns, like, just because I think they'll add some nice richness. And they can be really chill. That's like a really chill spot for them. Like, they can play piano really easily. I'm going to be lazy and just do this. Let's see what that sounds like. I just realized I keep saying, let's see what that sounds like. Let's sound what that sees like. Yeah, let's sound what that sees like. Ooh, that's nice. Starting to build up. Cool beans. Hey, let's do that. 2, 3, 4. I'm gonna use a double dot here. I think this is what. Whoa! Holy mother of chickens. I'm gonna split up the slurring like this. So we're just gonna hold this chord for a number, and then I'm gonna have them switch to norm. So we'll do this, we'll do that, we'll do this, and I might actually switch this up. So yeah, I'll have them jump down to a better place, and then at this point I can probably, well, I'm not gonna switch down to bass clef yet because I might have them do more stuff. And then, yeah, and then bam, bam, bam. I'm gonna see what it sounds like if I let the bones off so they kind of meld into the horns. Oh, that's sick! That's awesome. I'm gonna put mezzo piano there. That's really nice. This is getting fun. Okay, sweet. Since it's already like 40-50 minutes, I don't know how long it is, I'm gonna go ahead and cut it off here. But I've been really busy the past week. I'm doing 2 orchestration jobs, a string arranging job, a composition job, and I'm working on a violin sonata that's going to be performed in the fall. So that's why I haven't been making tons of videos. But I just finished transcribing the Quidditch theme, or an excerpt of the Quidditch theme from Harry Potter. So that's gonna the next John Williams video, which I'm gonna film in the next few days, hopefully. I actually I want to show you guys this. I made a softbox with cheap supplies with some Patreon money. Look at this. Check this out. You gotta see this with duct tape and a look at that. Isn't that great? With duct tape, shower curtain, and a cheap industrial light, so you will see a brighter face. As if I wasn't pale enough already. You'll see an even brighter face in the next John Williams video. But anyway, I'm going to try to be a lot more consistent with these Let's Write Musics because they're really easy to record. So, you should see one every day or every other day, coming up in the next few days because I finished all my other projects. So anyway, I look forward to seeing you guys in the next episode. As always, let me know in the comments what you think. If you want more or less detail. So, yeah, I generally, personally, just to let you know, when I'm working right now, when I'm explaining things as I go, I'm trying. It does take a little bit longer than in real life. In real life, I would just be like, I would just try something and change it, and then try something and change it, and just keep doing that and just sort of plowing through. But also these types of pieces, the low lyrical, where I'm having to be really, I'm at least trying to be inventive harmonically and texturally. Takes a long time because I'm trying things out. Whereas if I'm writing a superhero theme, it's like I have to spend a long time writing the tune. But once I write the tune, it's kind of like I know how to orchestrate it. You know what I mean? There are all these conventions that you can use. I know how to orchestrate a tutti. I know how to write wind runs, and I can just sort of like just plow through that really quickly, like I did in the first Let's Write Music episode. So this type of thing, which I think is what makes it fun, is a lot. You're having to reinvent the wheel every time. You're not. I'm trying not to use like. I'm trying to get outside of my own box when I write these types of things. So I think it's fun. I hope you guys enjoy it, even though, we spend almost an hour on 3 bars of music. So anyway, let me know what you think. But I'll see you guys in the next episode.